Hi everyone, my name is Adithi and I'm a first-year undergraduate international relations student at the Department of War Studies at King's College London. I will be hosting an episode of this podcast on the Tamil Eelam and the struggles and barriers they continue to face after the Sri Lankan Civil War. Before delving into my article, I would like to talk a bit about why I'm interested in global politics in the first place, particularly about issues related to human rights, social justice, and the question of power dynamics within societies. These topics have always fascinated me because they not only shed light on the complexities of the world we live in, but also the struggles faced by marginalized communities around the world. As a firm believer in the importance of advocating for those who are voiceless and oppressed, I am deeply passionate about understanding and addressing the systemic injustices that persist in our global landscape. That is precisely why, someday, I would like to pursue a career at the United Nations as a diplomat and contribute towards social advancement on a much broader scale. Such goals and values of mine are also what pushed me to commit to this internship, and in the process gain a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by post-conflict societies. Moving on, my article is titled Silenced Echoes, the Unseen Barriers to Tamil Eelam's Post-War Recovery, and my primary aim was to delve into the lingering effects of the Sri Lankan Civil War and the challenges faced by the Tamil community in its aftermath. There is actually a very personal reason as to why I picked this particularly sensitive topic. It's because I am Tamil myself. Although I am an Indian Tamil and not Sri Lankan, the plight of the Tamil community following this devastating conflict deeply resonates with me. Growing up in a Tamil household, I heard stories from my family and friends about the shared heritage, culture, and history of Tamils across borders. In fact, I am actually based in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and that is where I've spent the last 10 years of my life before moving to London. Even if I lived almost 3,000 kilometers away from Chennai, Tamil Nadu in India, my family had found our own community of Tamil-speaking individuals, especially since Dubai is such a unique melting pot where Tamils from diverse backgrounds can easily come together. We frequently had the opportunity to celebrate our heritage and support one another in times of need. It's a reminder of the interconnectedness of our global Tamil community and the importance of standing in solidarity with those facing injustice, regardless of geographical boundaries. So delving into this topic feels more than just academic or journalistic curiosity. It's a way for me to connect with my heritage, honor the experiences of my fellow Tamils, and hopefully contribute in some small way to the pursuit of justice and peace. Just to provide some context to the Sri Lankan Civil War, in case some of the listeners are unfamiliar with the events, I would like you to picture this. It's the late 1970s, and tensions are boiling over on the island nation of Sri Lanka. On one side, you've got the majority Sinhalese government, and on the other, the Tamil minority, feeling increasingly marginalized and oppressed. This simmering conflict erupted into a full-blown civil war in 1983, when the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, or the LTTE, took up arms to fight for an independent Tamil state called Tamil Eelam. What follows is 26 years of brutal fighting, marked by massacres, suicide bombings, high-profile assassinations, including former Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1991 and the Sri Lankan President Rana Singhe Premadasa in 1993, and widespread human rights abuses on both sides. The conflict finally came to a bloody end in 2009 after the Sri Lankan forces killed the leader of the LTTE, Velupillai Prabhakaran. The UN estimated around 80 to 100,000 deaths, with Tamils being a disproportionate fraction of this figure. Despite the war's end, the scars run deep, shaping the lives of Tamils in Sri Lanka to this day. The main aim of my article was to illuminate the often overlooked barriers hindering the post-war recovery of Tamil Eelam in Sri Lanka. I start by exploring the legal and socio-political and economic barriers that continue to hinder the recovery and reconciliation efforts of the Tamil community in Sri Lanka. From systemic discrimination in the legal system to the suppression of freedom of speech, these barriers serve as enduring reminders of the trauma inflicted during the Civil War. But it doesn't stop there. It is almost a universally acknowledged fact that press freedom is a cornerstone of democracy and a fundamental human right essential for the functioning of an informed, democratic society. However, one of the major themes that I found during my research on the aftermath of the Sri Lankan Civil War is the substantial censorship and intimidation journalists face in Sri Lanka. What struck me was that this isn't limited to just Tamils, although they often bear the brunt of it. Any journalist critical of government policies is at risk of being physically assaulted or detained by the police, or even labeled a terrorist or an LTTE apologist by the counter-terrorism unit. This hit me quite hard, because I've always been someone deeply invested in journalistic efforts. For instance, I have a plethora of past work experience in the field of writing articles and editorial pieces and doing research about current affairs. Indeed, I'm currently a post-conflict journalism intern. One thing I cherish the most in all of these experiences is my complete freedom to express my opinion, albeit always in a politically correct and sensitive manner. And the thought of fearing for my life simply for doing my job is unimaginable. Yet, for many Tamil journalists in Sri Lanka, it's the grim reality they face every single day. When discussing oppression in Sri Lanka, it's impossible to overlook the Prevention of Terrorism Act, or the PTA, a piece of legislation that's been described as a tool for stifling dissent and silencing voices of opposition. Under this act, individuals can be detained for extended periods without charge or trial, and confessions obtained under duress are admissible in court, leading to widespread abuse and injustice. This draconian law not only undermines the rule of law, but also creates an environment of fear, making it a significant barrier for people to pursue justice and accountability. The reason why I chose to highlight this particular piece of legislation is because it's a glaring example of how basic human rights can be trampled on in the name of national security. It essentially epitomizes the systemic injustices faced by the Tamil community. And as a Tamil myself, it hits close to home, and I believe that it is crucial to raise awareness about the challenges my community faces in very concrete terms. And there's no better example than this notorious law that continues to instill fear among many. Moreover, I was quite keenly aware of the ideological divide between the majority Buddhist Sinhalese and the majority Hindu Tamils. And I anticipated uncovering a similar phenomenon, but something very intriguing and quite unexpected emerged during my research. An equally entrenched division occurs between the Tamils remaining in Sri Lanka and the huge international diaspora scattered across the globe. I thought this added a fascinating layer to the narrative and piqued my curiosity. It led me down a path of exploration into the complexities of identity, belonging, and aspiration within the Tamil community, which I delve into in further detail in my article. Despite the physical distance separating them, the Tamils abroad remain deeply connected to their homeland, their cultural heritage, and the enduring dream of an independent Tamil homeland. A notable proportion of them passionately support a return to armed struggle in order to achieve this dream and reverse the failure/defeat of 2009. However, this is significantly different from what the Tamil Eelam feels, which is precisely war weariness and a profound longing to return to some form of normalcy and stability. This adds a layer of complexity to the narrative of post-war recovery and reconciliation, and I wanted to ensure that I reinforce the importance of amplifying diverse voices within this community, to show that we are not homogeneous. So I made a deliberate choice to shine a spotlight on the struggles of Tamils within Sri Lanka, honing in on the often overlooked challenges of the internally displaced people or IDPs in the war's aftermath. This is because I wanted to shed light on a lesser-known aspect of post-war life, hoping to raise awareness about the ongoing plight. Did you know that 115,000 Tamils remain confined to transitional camps or shelters? What struck me the most was the dire lack of basic necessities in these places. Access to essentials like food and clean water remain alarmingly inadequate, highlighting the urgent need for humanitarian assistance and long-term solutions to support them. Indeed, the aspect of land ownership is also crucial in understanding the challenges faced by the internally displaced Tamil population. During the Civil War, the Sri Lankan military seized large swathes of land to create security buffer zones around army bases. However, even after the end of hostilities, many of the displaced individuals have been unable to reclaim their land. This is primarily because of legal complexities, bureaucratic hurdles, and the military's reluctance to relinquish control over occupied land. It was really important for me to highlight the issue of land ownership because more than just being a physical piece of property, land symbolizes a sense of belonging and identity. Many of these individuals have strong emotional and cultural ties to the land they were forced to leave behind during the conflict. So reclaiming their land is not just a matter of property rights, but also a means to restore their dignity and connection to their ancestral roots. It is also an opportunity to rebuild social networks and revitalize community bonds, some things they have been deprived of. Land is also essential for their livelihoods and economic stability, particularly considering that many Tamils come from deeply agrarian backgrounds. So access to farmlands forms a very significant source of sustenance and income for them. Without this, poverty evidently increases in an exponentially manner. Their ongoing struggle for land rights perpetuates a cycle of displacement and disenfranchisement, worsening their ability to rebuild their lives and communities. As we've explored the legal, sociopolitical, and humanitarian barriers faced by Tamils in Sri Lanka, it's clear that they're still being affected by the elements of wartime repression. Nonetheless, I would like our listeners to keep in mind that the enduring resilience and bravery of this vulnerable community, the quest for justice, dignity, and peace for the Tamil people, is an uphill battle, but I firmly believe that a brighter future for them is not just a distant hope, but an achievable reality, with the right support from domestic and international governments and social activists. In the final concluding remarks of my article, I was particularly keen on mentioning the Tamil Elam Remembrance Day on the 27th of November, also known as Mavirar, because at my university, at King's, I'm actually part of the Tamil Society. A significant portion of this society is ethnically Sri Lankan, and a lot of the members' parents are indeed victims of the war who fled to the UK shortly after it began. So every year on this particular day, we organize an event on campus to honor the memory of those who lost their lives. It's a deeply personal and meaningful experience for me as I witness firsthand the resilience and solidarity of the Tamil community in remembering their shared history and advocating for justice and peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey to uncover the silenced echoes of Tamil Elam's post-war recovery. I also hope that you enjoy reading my article and having a look at the supplementary infographic that I've designed as well. Together, let's continue to stand in solidarity and work towards a more just and peaceful tomorrow for all.